I lied. Thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. And I didn't know the love of God was in hell. But now I can say, and you are discouraged, struggling to make it through another day. You've got to let love go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. Let your spirit of my life. Yes, I'm going blind. Yes, I'm only here for life. For struggle, no one's right. I think I see the light. I am lost. Yes, I'm only here for life. And I let go. Let the spirit of my life. I'm only here for life. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I'm free in my sleep. I'm only here for life. And I let go. Let the spirit of my life. And my heart so alive. Yes, I'm only here for life. No struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the sea. I'm only for life. I am free in the sea. As I walk, God.
So to let you know how really amazing it is, you have to know a little backstory. The first time she's ever sung the song was this morning. Oh, seriously. I mean, I knew it would be great for you. You have this jazzy voice, the opening was just it's where it's at. That's the pocket. So thank you very much for this morning. Welcome everybody. I'm Reverend Greg Dorst, and I made it here even without Jackie. Did you do that? I mean, which is really that's saying something. That is saying something. There's a lot that has to be done for me ready to do all this kind of stuff. Who knows where I end up usually? Jackie. So yeah, she's got a sort of an emergency she had to do today. So thank you, Jackie, doing all of the things that you do so well. We sure appreciate all of it. So welcoming the live streaming people might as well while we're talking about all the equipment supplies to bring to the service. Some people are here from long distances over live streaming. And I know, Steve, you just got a card from Colleen, didn't you? And so I know we're going to be saying hello, Colleen. Hello, Colleen. She's in Illinois. She's outside of Chicago, and we all know Colleen. We also have Charlene, who comes in from Tennessee. And so we all know her, too. She came for years and years, and then she scooted on back to Tennessee to do some things that I know that she had to do. And we got Charles DeTurk, who's going to come in from Michigan. I mean, pretty soon we're going to be worldwide. I'm going to have to learn a couple new languages. Yeah, so Unity of Pasadena is a very special place. And, you know, I say this all the time, and I absolutely But I love Sundays. Why don't you join me with that?
I love Sundays.
We get dressed up, come to this beautiful space, and connect again. It's an awesome thing. And when we're here, what we are is reminded of the things that we do in order to live a successful life, a connected life. One that is spirit-driven, one that brings about a practical response to the things that happen in life, and a great way of touch with power that is all things. So we come and celebrate that. I absolutely love it. So I have this saying, I want you to join me in. There's only one thing. It may look like more than one thing. It may feel like more than one thing. So expressing expressing his and everything. So that's a statement of unity that is, I would say, original to this space, because unity churches other places aren't doing that because they didn't write it. Unless, of course, they listen to our service, and decide if they want to incorporate it. And go ahead, you guys. You are listening. Go ahead and incorporate it. I think it's a beautiful statement of oneness. And we are all expressions of this divine source. We're going to talk about that specifically today. We're on the fifth principle of the fundamentals. So today's going to be the day. So let's see. Why don't we start today with peace prayer? I've had several requests to unpack it again. And so I brought it up, and I know you guys are not going to have this up on the screen today because it's just something that popped into our consciousness today. So instead of repeating it with me, please just kind of find yourself a space to sink into it, enjoy these words. These are original too. Let the light of understanding shine upon all hearts, guiding us to recognize the sacred thread of oneness that unites every soul. In this shared tapestry of existence, may compassion be our language, kindness our currency, and love our universal prayer. Let the winds of peace sweep across the globe, embracing every nation, fostering harmony and dissolving the barriers that separate us. As one human family, we cultivate a world where understanding prevails and the echoes of unity resonate. So it is. Whew. Thanks for asking for it. Thank you. Thank you. But it moves me. It does. So we have a unity blessing that we also join in together with. And if you join me with, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you just the way you are. We also have a statement of faith. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe. God the good omnipotence. And I am one with that presence and prayer. So please join me in an opening prayer. We take a deep breath. Recognize as we sink into our seats, release everything that it took to get here, that God is present right here in this very space. The Spirit is in, around, and through each and every one of us, as we operate and express who it is and what it is we truly are at depth. This divine resource, Spirit, that Creator, that source of all things, we allow into our consciousness to drive us to greater heights, to become our greater yet to be accepted. We allow it, demand it of ourselves. We here at Unity of Pasadena express love in everything we do. Our board of trustees, we're so thankful for, expresses love in their actions, keeping this space, this beautiful sacred space, in tune, moving in the right direction as a beacon of light for the community. We're so thankful for the people who greet us as we come in the door. We're thankful for the people who bring food. We're so thankful for our prayer chaplains who stood up here during the singing of I Release and held the light for each and every one of us, that light of spirit. We're so thankful for that consciousness, and we are so thankful for the loving consciousness of music that's brought to us by our musicians today. Our volunteers do PowerPoint, sound, streaming. We're so thankful to the rest of the world. So it's with all of this in mind, all of this feeling of Thanksgiving in mind, that I hold on to gratitude. It's a great place to be. I release everything else. And so it is. All right, so we're going to do a song.
I stand alone. I close my eyes against the wind, steady and strong. I'm alone, for I am not afraid. Stand wait, for I am happy. I'm holding on. For when my moment comes, when my moment comes, like a phoenix I'll fly. When it comes, beneath the slave of who I see. Truth is the staff I lean upon. Exclaim, what has been promised me? Give my heart that was broken a brand new song. But when my moment comes, when my moment comes, like the phoenix I will fly. When it comes, like a seal on my heart, my secret destiny, brand new start. But when my moment comes, when my moment comes, like a phoenix I will fly. When it comes, like a phoenix I'll fly. When it comes,
For you, Marty.
Thank you.
For a reason.
I don't know why I can't just talk to you. I always have to play with this I have. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Well, I have to tell you, I always have, every time I get to do the daily word, thoughts come up and I always share them with you. When I first entered a metaphysical church, which was many, many, many years ago, there was a big stained glass sign behind the minister, and it said, "The truth shall set you free." Well, for months, I wasn't really listening to what he had to say because I was trying to figure out what is the truth and what am I going to be free from? I didn't really understand. But then a little while later, I heard another catchphrase that meant a lot to me, and it was that God in me, as me, is me. And then I learned that wonderful phrase, let go and let God. And you know, that gives you real freedom because you don't have to take care of the world anymore. And they don't impose anything on you because they're not in charge. You're in charge of yourself because God is you. So I get to talk about free today. Divine wisdom, love, and strength guide me to freedom. While I may not be able to control what is happening around me, I have the power to choose my response. Even though it may seem paradoxical, assuming complete responsibility for my reactions and choices is the key to my freedom. No one and nothing can make me feel a certain way. Living from this awareness gives me the power to create my life from inside out. I choose my thoughts, words, and actions. If I don't like what life is showing me, I have the power to make choices. I do not squander my spiritual freedom. Other people and worldly situations have no control over me. Taking full responsibility for my life, I am free to create my future by living from my divinity. As servants of God, live as free people, yet do not use your freedom as a pretext for evil. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 16.
All right, 3-minute question. Comes from this little vase, and it sits over on the table with all the announcements. And there's a pen and there are pieces of paper there for you to write on, so that you can stick that question into this vase. And I get to choose which one. Usually it's the one on top, not too far. But I get to choose one, and then I get 3 minutes to talk about it. So it's an exciting thing for me because 3 minutes goes by really, really fast, and I have to set boundaries for myself, which is often. And then it allows me to think about some things that I know you want to think about. I get to talk about some things that I know you might want to talk about. So let's pick one. 6 minutes. All right. Ooh. Oh. Why is acceptance difficult? Accepting the things I cannot change is difficult. That's interesting. Well, that's a question that really resonates with me because I have contact with a lot of people in my other life, which is as an addiction specialist. I work specifically with lawyers and judges and law students because I'm a retired lawyer myself, and also a member of this other program that I enjoy so very, very much that talks about acceptance a lot. And so when people come with problems or difficulties, it's usually something that they're not accepting. It's causing anxiety or stress. And that's usually what you can look at and see as something that they're not accepting, that they need to potentially look at accepting so that they can find the freedom. And I love the word freedom because this brings great freedom. Acceptance can bring great, great freedom. But where people misunderstand it is they accept something they like, that they're approving of it. And that's not the case. There are things out there that we just cannot change. We can't change people, places, and things. We can't change how the people thrive. But my response to that is really, really important. It is. I have to accept the idea that I'm in charge of theirs. I have to accept the idea that it will take a while to get traffic. Very, very difficult. And I might lose control, but I have the freedom to choose how I respond to that. And acceptance is usually the best response. It truly is. You know, the serenity prayer says, it is all about acceptance. You know, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can. That last part, courage to change the things I can, is really about the action we're going to talk about. Expressing your ability to make that choice happen in your life. So did we make 3 minutes?
Got one more.
Oh my goodness. Hey, you know what? Let's just bank that. Gotta have a minute to bank it. Okay, so yeah, that's the 3 questions. Thank you so much. And now we have meditation. Would you please join us at the podium? Anita. Address this week. Because believe it or not, Mark is a little taller than
Now I can see you. Let's join together and pray the prayer of St. Francis first. Spirit. God, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine presence, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we pardon, and it is through grace that we are given life. You know, when I first heard that prayer, I thought, gosh, I want to be this way. And the second paragraph, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console. I was off. Oh God, I don't even know what to say right now. My mind just went blank. But I feel it's such a privilege when I can console other people and encourage other people. And when that happens, I'm so grateful because I'm so happy. And right now, there's so much golden light around each and every one of this whole church is consumed. You're just all covered with golden light that's going to God's love. And what we need to do is just think back to Reverend Greg's prayer that in the gospel, God is within us. And when I pray, I've been lately, I just want to share this with you. I always call God Father. I'm Italian, but there's still a Godfather. So still, maybe I'm old-fashioned, but that's the way that just, it hits me, and it hits me right here, right in my chest. And I ask for the help for what I need and the guidance to know what to say, what to do. And when I do that, and when I call and I know God is Father, He's our source, He gave us life, then I can feel the power and the energy come through in my heart. So just for now, just think just for a moment that God, and just know, not think, know God is within you. He's within each one of us. He hasn't left us high and dry out. And just let Him know whatever you're concerned about, and know that He loves you. And think of a loved one you want to pray for anything. Just send that person the golden light of His love. Close our eyes right now for 2 minutes. Can send love to that person concerned. Okay. Open your eyes and just feel that love come. Spread that and give that to others. Everything in your life today. God bless you.
What would I do if I knew that I could fail? If I believed the wind always fill up my sail, how far would I go? What could I achieve? Trusting that you're always if I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to tread. Never lose faith, even when losing my way. Steps will I take today if I'm afraid? What if we're all to do is secretly dream? What would you ask if you could have anything? Like the mighty oak sticks in the heart of the sea, are there miracles in you and me? If I were brave, I'd walk the razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare to never lose faith, even when losing my way. Steps would I take today if I were brave? What would I do if I were brave? What would I do today if I If I were brave, I'd walk and raise and stand, but fools and dreamers dare to fail. Never lose faith, even when losing my way. Steps would I take today? I would pray. What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave?
I keep bringing more stuff up here. Half my library's up here now. I've got something from Ellen Davenport, Five Principles. You guys have probably heard this book. She's a contemporary unity writer. We are on the fundamentals, so you've heard a lot about the things that she believes through the first 3 weeks of this month. But we're on the fifth principle now, so we're going to be talking about the action, and the action that comes through thoughts, words, and doing those things, and hopefully becoming those things. Because I'll tell you, that song that you sang, absolutely beautiful, but we could take it one step further. I mean the words, I mean the meaning, what it really, really says to us. What would I be? Who do I have to be brave? Who do I have to be? Instead of what do I have to do? Who do I have to be in order to be brave? You know, and you can ask yourself that question if you have a health challenge. Who do I have to be in order to be healed? And that's a person that believes that you can be. It's a person that takes the steps to make their physical well-being better, mental health better, psychological health and emotional health better. You know, who do I have to be in order to achieve this bravery thing? Now, and I think that that is a person who walks through fear, and I think you were singing that. I think those words were exactly what you were talking about. But you can recognize that you have to do something and still not do it. That is something that we all live with. And but if you become it, you can't help but do it. I do a lot of weddings, and one of the things that I say at weddings typically is a reading that I wrote under the pseudonym Pin Master G. You guys know a little bit about that. And it's about love. And it says there are lots of honeydews that you're going to be engaged in. I'm speaking directly to the room. And, you know, that's great. I quite understand that. You know, uh, when you do those honeydews, you're expressing love. And one way to make sure that you're always expressing love is to actually be love. Not just feel that you have to do it, not just feel that it's a responsibility as a husband, actually be love. You step into it and be love, and you never have to remember to do loving things, because it'll just unfold as you. And so, yeah, that's kind of the neat thing about what it is that we understand here in unity, that we have choices to make. And those choices that we make create who is to become. And when we become what it is we'd like to see in this world, we do those things we want to do. So, beautiful song. I mean, it's insane how you reach those notes. Seriously. I mean, and, you know, I always, when I hear you warming up when I walk through the door and I know it's you here, I think somebody's got the radio on. Because it just sounds so perfect and so beautiful. It's a live performance. I want to thank you for that. Really, really appreciate it. So we have been, as I said, on the principles. as the fundamentals. And I'll tell you where we are. It's time for us to talk about action. It's time for us to talk about how we step into action. Because we've been talking about uh, the truth and knowing the truth for the first 2 weeks and last week as well. And what that is, succinctly, is what we talk about in here initially, the definition of God, our own minds and our own lives, how we see God. Uh, Unity has a way for us to see it in a more full sense. So we look at God as that which is all things, that which is all thoughts, feelings, understandings from here on out, from all time before us. So God is everything. At one point in time, there was only God. God utilized himself and created everything. You are made of God's stuff. That's all there is God. There's only one thing, as I said at the beginning of the service. So that's the first principle. And the first principle guides us into the second principle, which allows us to understand this very truth, that we are that which God is, that we are an expression of God, that we are God in action. Richard Rohr says this so wonderfully. He's a Franciscan priest who has found this oneness ideal, expresses it in everything that he does. But he says that God so loved you that God simply became. And I absolutely love that thought, that idea. That's a true oneness ideal. So we see God as all there is, and we are that. So God is in, around, and through us, but also as us. We're operating here on earth as an expression of God. And so those are the first two principles of unity, and that's the truth that we understand through unity. And by the way, it's not just unity that understands that. There are legions of religious ideas and philosophical knowings throughout the ages that talk about the singular source, the singular creator, this one thing that created all things. Not just that God in the sky sitting in a throne that's judging all the time. It's going to someday come forward and say yay or nay, thumbs up or thumbs down. It's not happening. We don't see that. We don't see God as that. We see a larger sense of what God is. Principle, in fact, oftentimes called love. I use the word life for God. So, how do we utilize this truth in our lives? Well, the third week we talked about prayer and thought, and how our thinking moves us into that space where we actually become what it is we want to be. That's a person that's operating from this truth. Because a lot of things can be said about a person operating from this truth. And a lot of those things can be seen in exactly what Jesus demonstrated here on earth as a great example. A lot of those things can be seen in his love, in his desire for peace, in the compassion that he gave others, in the stepping into the moment to help people they were suffering, not only physically, but emotionally. In doing all of the things that he needed to do to give service, to bring them to that space of wholeness. I mean, that's beautiful stuff. That is really incredible stuff. That is demonstrating a truth that many of us have to go through decades to understand. You know, he was caring about people because he knew that they too were expressions of God. And when he said, "These things ye shall do and more," that's what he meant. That you too will know that this expression toward others is just symbolic of the recognition that you know they're God too. The way you treat the least of us is the way you treat me. See, that's a great expression of knowing that there's really this one thing, and it expresses in so many different ways. So here we are, utilizing our thoughts and our prayers in order to create something in us that will move us to do something. Something within us that gets us to take action on the truth. I mean, that's not so easy sometimes. You take a look at your own lives. You've got some things that you really don't want to do. You know what you're supposed to be doing, but you really don't want to do it. So I've given up a lot of things in my life. I mean, some of you who know me know that. I've given up a lot of things in my life. But I had 3 donuts last night. Yes. And I know they're not good for me, but they feed this sugar thing I've got. I mean, once I have one, it's really hard not to have 2. Once I have 2, it's really hard not to have 3. The only way I can stop that progression from happening is only by 3. So, yeah, sometimes we don't even know that they're really bad for us because we haven't taken a really great look at the science, even though we know it's there. It's not. And I have this little thing that I was thinking about and wrote into the book of Greg that I want to talk about for a second because it sort of pinpoints exactly where we are. So if you know, if you were here yesterday, how many of you were here yesterday for the workshop? Oh, look at this, fantastic. It was a blast, by the way. Just missed out on some incredible wisdom that is you, that is each and every one of you. All of you have these great ideas and express them so well. And it's just a loving, caring group of people that want to know the truth and how to utilize it. So I honor you. It's a blast. But we talked a little bit about how to look at things metaphysically. You know, how to understand the Bible rather than push it away. I have this Bible I showed you in so many pieces. You know, it comes in separate books that I showed you guys last week that was made in 1906 and kind of sold throughout the nation. It's very, very cool. It's in a box. You can come in my office and see that. But it has all of the books in it. Some of them scare people. That's okay. But when you look at it metaphysically, what can it bring to my life, the moment? What can it help me to understand about life? What can these characters show me about me? What can these characters that are in the Bible show me about the world, about the afterlife, about how to be and do all of the things that ask questions of ourselves all the time? And how can it help me in today's world? That's a metaphysical approach to the Bible, nothing to be afraid of. Nothing to be afraid of. And it's kind of fun to take a look at the words in the Bible and say, how can I be instructed? What is it about this that can help me right now? It's not just the history, it's not who said it necessarily, it's how it affects me and how can I utilize it. That's a metaphysical interpretation of the Bible. So, I was thinking one day about this action thing, this doing, knowing the truth, and stepping into the moment, and doing what I pretty much know I'm supposed to do, but I don't do. I mean, all of those things, all those hard things. And I harkened back to something that I had seen on a favorite program of mine. And so I remember writing in my book of Greg just this: is your oil light on? Is your oil light? Well, if I had written that, well, let's put it this way. Let's suppose somebody finds the book of Greg 2,000 years from now. This is the book of Greg. For those of you who've never seen it, this is the book of Greg. I just write down all my ideas in it. I write poetry and I write a journal on some things that are affecting me at the moment. I even talk about my fears, and all that stuff. But if somebody came across this 2,000 years from now and they looked at it and they said, is your oil light on? Is your oil, what do you mean by that? But I mean, there's got to be some sort of meaning in this, I mean, because the book of Greg, is really an important spiritual text. And so there has to be some deepness. So knowing that it says Reverend Greg in the front, they might think, oh, so he's talking about something from the Bible. Maybe he's talking about the miracle of Hanukkah. Is your oil light on? I mean, you probably thought about that when I said that. Maybe it's your oil. Yeah. Or are you hiding your lamp on a bushel or something like that? Or something from the Testament? They probably say, yeah, that's what he wants you to reflect on whether or not you're showing us your true nature, or whether or not you're using your gifts to help society. But no, that's not what I'm talking about. You'd have to know the context of what it is going on in my life when I wrote that. Okay, so there's this character who has a car, and she never puts oil in the car because she's just negligent about it. And one day her mother borrows the car and comes back after borrowing the car and says, your oil light's on. She says, oh, yeah, it's always on. And the mother says, well, it goes off when you put oil in it. Oh, my goodness. She goes, I know, I just don't want to. And it's the perfect segue into, is there something that is happening in your life that is something you need to change, but you're just not doing it? You're just making up excuses like, oh, yeah. It's always on. It's always on. So, is there something there that you need to step into and do? I mean, I just love that. So, you would have to know that backstory. But you need to know that backstory too, because I'm likely to, one of these days when we're sitting down having something to eat, say to you, oh, I know. And you'll know what I'm talking about. No, you will know what I'm talking about. It's not Hanukkah. It's not hiding your light under a bushel. It's about, are you living with something you don't need to live with? Because you don't want to do it. You just don't want to. Maybe tomorrow. You want it. You got a tomorrow? Yes, you do. I know you have it. So that is, for me, the metaphysical essence of what it is we're talking about here today. Living the truth we know. Now, there are all kinds of really interesting ways that unity has of expressing these things, and some of the things that we talk about, and people who are in unity who talk about this fifth principle, they use James, the book of James, in order to impress upon us how important it is to take action. Now, who knows who this character James is in the whole idea of things that are presented in the Gospels? All right, he's supposed to be Jesus' brother. He's supposed to be Jesus' brother. And James is a guy who is just about action. I mean, he says things like, well, I want to read it to you. All right. He says, do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. You've heard faith without works is dead. Well, that's like James's motto. You see, he says, get down to action. Start doing this thing. Otherwise, you probably don't believe it in the first place. But human nature is really kind of to put these things off. Oh, I know. So many times I sit down with people and I say, well, have you taken a look at this? Is this something you might want to? Oh, I know. And immediately I recognize two things. First of all, they might know, but probably don't. And secondly, they're not going to do it. I mean, I'm just wasting it. And then I'll have to say something like, who do you have to be in order to see this thing go away? Brings up a whole different conversation. So, James is talking about, in the Bible, James is a character. I don't know if he's real. It doesn't really matter. But what he's talking about is something we realize in our lives. And that is taking a look at what it is we think we know and what it is we think is the truth and acting upon it, moving forward with it. I mean, what's next? We've thought about it. We learned about it. We thought about it. We know it. We have said, I'll do it, and then nothing? Or do you step into it and actually do it? Well, as I was listening to the prayer of St. Francis, I thought to myself, what a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful demonstration of what it is that we're talking about today. You probably have never seen it this way, but I'm listening to it and I think, this is really what it's all about. Your favorite is the second verse of it, right? Anita? Yeah, where it says, "O divine master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console." Wow, wow. Okay. So what he's doing is praying for action, praying for the will to step into it. See? Not so much seek to be consoled. He knows the value of consoling others. He just is praying for that power. He also says to be understood as opposed to understand. I should understand. Not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it's in pardoning that we are pardoned. He's asking this divine master, he's asking Father, source of all things, he's asking for a change in life. He's asking for transformation. Asking to have the will to step into the fear of becoming somebody other than who he is in the moment. Somebody who's standing back saying, I really like being consoled. I don't know if I can step into consoling others. Now, I don't know exactly what it takes for me to understand others as I want to be understood, but I'm willing to know. I'm willing to know, so give me the power, God. Move me into that transformative phase. Move me into that space. I don't think St. Francis wrote this. Nobody really does. I mean, St. Francis was around in the 1200s, and this first surfaced in 1912. It was written some sort of a publication in 1912. And the person that wrote it, instead of taking credit for it, just said, well, it's something St. Francis would say. And so it becomes the prayer of St. Francis. So we don't know whether or not St. Francis ever wrote it, and it doesn't matter. See, but that fits right into the metaphysical category that I love so much. Does it matter whether or not he wrote it? Does it matter who wrote it? Can you apply that to your life? Is there something that it says that will help you to move forward? Oh, absolutely. You bet. Let me see this world differently. Let me have the power to step into it as that person who does something. I mean, when you pray that prayer, you better be ready for transformation. You better be ready for enlightenment. Because that's what you're asking for. This is a prayer about becoming your higher self and stepping into it. Now, most of us are afraid to make those choices. Most of us are afraid to move forward. Most of us need the help of a group like this in order to practice those principles. Most of us need meditation and prayer in order to bring ourselves to the moment to take that leap. It's a leap of faith. Once you know the truth, it's not so hard. So I think this fifth principle is about a lot of things, but it's also about service to others, because he's talking about that. In the prayer of St. Francis, whoever wrote it is talking about service to others. Consoling whom? Not me. Consoling somebody else. Understanding whom? Not me, although it'd be a nice thing. Understanding others. Loving what? Well, it's nice to love all there is, but let's start with you. That's a hard proposition. It really is. I mean, it's much easier to say, oh, I love everybody, than it is to say you love the person that you've had conflict with today, or that person that flipped you off on the freeway. Really. It's much easier to say I love everything than to love that particular individual. But what St. Francis is asking for is the power to do it. I mean, we know it's the right thing. We saw Jesus do it. So it's hard. He says we can. So we step into the truth that we know. Do you know that a vibrant life is the truth? That your life is intended to be vibrant, filled with love and caring and understanding and goodness that is brought to you by great relationships with others and with Spirit itself. That's your divine birthright. I mean, you were born to experience those things. There's a great quote in the book of Greg, and it's really good. I really like this one. It's about what God said, if God were talking. And God says, while you're alive, I'll live through you. When you transition, you live through me. While you're here, I'll live through you. When you transition, you live through me. Whew. I just got the chills. Thank you for the prayer. So I think it's appropriate to step into this. Why don't you join me? I'm going to start this chant. You know the chant. You know the words to it. We'll start slow, go. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. A little louder. Only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. Louder. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. Shout it out. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. So it is. Whew. Thank you, guys. Billy Ann, come forward. It's such a joy to see you. You know, you have such a beautiful smile. Look at this. We got a full list. Gosh. You ready to hear this? I hope you're listening, you guys. We care about you. We love you. Paul. Paul Smith. Hey, Paul. Great job. Jackie. Woo! We got Charlene. On. Charlene Capley. We got Anita Arakawa. Hello, Anita. Colleen is on. I knew it. We have Audrey Owens. Many of you met her yesterday. Great to have you on, Audrey. Fantastic. We got Basha here. You know, we're giving Basha a word back. She gives us a sound back. Basha. We have Cora Kaufman. I haven't seen you in a while. Come on in. Kelly McDowell. Wow. All the way from Palm Desert. Look, Kelly. Fantastic. Yeah. Oh, and there's more about the back. She says, I can read lips. She says, turn it over. I thought she was saying, metaphysically, you know, turn it over. Laura House and Sandra French, welcome. Fantastic. Also, people are watching on YouTube. We didn't get that, but this is quite an audience now. This is very, very good. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. It absolutely kickstarts us. And we have our community giving. So what we do is we support that which is aligned with our teaching truth. We believe this community has love and life and caring and compassion to the rest of the world. Is so worthwhile, not only but to do the things that. And so we have a community giving statement that we share together. You join me. God is the source of my Lord, supply, and I am. So it is. Thank
Till my bones are ready, push past the point of break. It's all that I need to I never go empty handed. That's me. I'm never stranded. Oh, I'm like a siren of plenty and joys I can carry now. I'm waking up around the world. Hallelujah. 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 Every breath you keep from day. Hallelujah. 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 Every song I sing, every part of me, every day. Hallelujah. 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 Every breath in your beat proclaims hallelujah. Now, today, today, I lied. Today, today, all this time with God. When? Today.
Vacation. Yes, thank you so much. Absolutely, man. Denise Rosier would be giving you a standing ovation. She loved. So here we go. We accept these tithes and treasures, recognizing, knowing gifts for the Spirit, for that magnificent community we support, this beautiful Unity of Pasadena, and the surrounding community that Unity of Pasadena supports. And we bring forth the consciousness of love and joy and understanding, and it permeates them. We're so thankful for this opportunity. Thanking each of you who let us go. So it is. Amen. All right, who's doing our community today? Come on, Bill.
Thank you, Greg. So, today, you've seen our vision, mission, and core values demonstrated in our service today. Let's take a moment now and affirm them together. Vision in a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. Our mission, transforming lives by living and sharing the greater truth of divine wisdom, compassion, and love using practical spiritual principles. And our core value, creating community, living love, teaching truth, serving spirits. I want to thank Team K through R, who are in charge of hospitality. And next is
S through Z.
Oh, S through Z today.
Uh-oh. Okay. Thank you to Team K. Okay. S through Z is in charge of sobriety. Serving and cleaning up. Thank you, everyone, for contributing to our wonderful hospitality time. And next week, next Sunday is tea time with our chaplain. And Luann is leading this after hospitality. Membership Sunday. We are celebrating any new members and all our members this day. If you're already a member, please return your annual update as soon as possible. Don't forget Ash Wednesday. Wednesday, February 14th may be Valentine's Day, but is also Ash Wednesday this year. Since the restaurants will be way too crowded, consider bringing someone special to this unique metaphysical season. Anybody here come last year?
Yeah.
Wow. I remember. So Gall is coming, and he will be talking on relationships. This event is just 3 weeks away now, so sign up now if you plan to attend. What's more important on this plane than relationships? What else is happening? These events and more you'll find in your monthly bulletin. Easy reference. And our website is another great resource for check this out to see what's happening on the page for current activity, register. Remember, Steve has photographs from Colleen that she sent. So if you're interested in seeing how she and her husband check on, see. Now I'll turn this back over to Reverend.
Yeah, it's easier. So Steve has a bell, the gong. Steve has the gong, and we're going to do the silent unity prayer for protection in a moment. I'd like you to stand for that. And Steve, would you help us prepare for that by ringing the gong? Oh, outstanding. Fantastic. Please join me. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God envelopes us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is. I am divine as well.
I choose love.
Oh, good.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love's always is what I'm made of. I choose love. We are all part of each other. We are one tie that binds us. It can't be undone. I choose love. Peace for our planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present is what we're made of. I choose love. We are all part of each other. We are one choice unites us, and is neither one. I choose love. I choose